Good evening and welcome to another episode of Unstoppable. I have my soulmate, Michael, over here with me.
Howdy, y'all.
Hey, babe.
Hello.
Hi, baby. How was your weekend?
It's very busy.
Yeah, it was very, very busy. We attempted something at my request yesterday that we've been doing a lot of home upgrade projects, if you will, and I asked if everyone could go electronic free until dinner time. That meant husband and child, no video games, no television, no phones. And for me, I think it was the hardest because I agreed not to be working on everything I do and focus on the home. And we did it. And everybody had a great time. We
We did.
we laughed, we had so much fun, and it was just fun.
It felt like a detox.
Right? And it was fun. And then when we got done and we looked at everything we accomplished, it was like, wow, this all looks fantastic, right? So that's just a thought, maybe. Now granted, I was ecstatic about it, and at dinner I made the comment across our table, hey, what if we do this once a week? And like in unison, I get no. But I said, okay, can we talk about maybe once a week during the weekday? No. Like it's like in stereo for me. But we accomplished a lot, and then we had to go and get all of our eyes checked. That's always fun. And I skipped the last year or two, and I finally said, okay, I'll go and do it, even though I tried to get out of it at the very last minute. But my husband, now that we're talking about it, when I am getting the pre-testing done, Faith says to me, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you, when you were pre-testing, Dad tried to give me his phone. And I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah. And then when I was getting my eye exam, she's like, guess what Dad did? Dad tried to give me his phone again. So now we all know how wrapped my husband is. And it wasn't how that was supposed to go. But
It was good.
yes, it was good. My my friends attempted, as everybody knows, that my husband and our daughter are massive, massive pranksters. And my friends, we all kind of came up with oh, we want to prank Michael. So what happened? Because you have to picture this. We were getting our hair done, and she's a friend of mine. And every time we go in there, everybody's like, what's the latest prank? What happened? What's going on? What's the newest? And so if you can imagine like 15 women all standing around, hands over their mouths, trying not to crack up laughing while my friend makes this phone call. What happens?
Oh, you want me to finish it?
Yeah.
So I get a phone call from the beautician. She said, on my wife's phone, Michael, I just want to tell you that your wife is freaking out right now because I cut off a lot of her hair. I shaved it in the back and it's all gapped up and your wife's freaking out right now because I cut most of it off.
And she was so serious sounding.
She was very serious. As soon as she started speaking and and she identified herself, I won't call her name out. I immediately interrupted her
You did.
and yelled, pretty forcefully, "What is wrong? Is my wife all right? Where is she? Is everything okay?" Because that was my main concern. And this one was going on about my wife's hair being on the floor and gapped up, and the wife's freaking out. So after, you know, I allowed her to continue speaking, she used the word, "My wife is freaking out." Well, no. My wife has beautiful, beautiful red hair. If y'all go on their Facebook, Instagram, I don't know, everywhere, and see a
It's
picture of
long.
her, it's
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 long.
long and beautiful and red,
Like we're not like people now think long hair is like to your chest. No, mine's to like my butt.
and it's thick. Not her butt,
No,
but
no, my butt's
her
thick too.
her hair.
It has its own zip code back there.
Anyway, it would just tickle my wife's fancy if all her hair was cut off almost. And the beautician used the word, she's freaking out. Well, I knew right then that it was a joke. I
I
knew it
know
was a
I shook my
prank.
head and said, you screwed up.
Um, and she tried to continue, I gave her kudos, she tried to continue with the prank and, oh no, she's really freaking out about it. No, hon, you don't know my wife.
You said, no, that's not what you
Right.
said. You said, my wife never freaks out.
She will never freak out about that.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that didn't go very well.
Nope. And then I guess, and I heard you crack up laughing.
I couldn't hold it
Yeah.
anymore. It was painful at that point. It was.
Nice
Yeah.
try. I told her to up her game. She's just an amateur.
Wow.
She needs to take lessons from Faith.
Man, that girl can prank anybody all day long. And she's good at it.
She's getting better, yes.
She is phenomenal. I know what's coming for you, and it's
Oh, great.
good. Like it is good. It's gonna be really, really good.
So, anything on the agenda for tonight?
Well, I want to talk about our podcastathon that will be released March 19th. We are partnering with Give Kids the World, which, if nobody has ever been to Give Kids the World, then I'm going to give you like a little background of it. Give Kids the World partners with Make a Wish, who we're partnered with. And when Faith and I did her Make a Wish trip, we stayed at Give Kids the World. Now, I wish on no one what Faith has gone through. But any moms or dads or families out there that have children who have additional needs medically, because I hate so much of the terminology because it's so wrong. Because they're the happiest kids you'll ever meet. Like they don't take anything for granted. They let everything roll off their back. They have the biggest hearts. They're just the greatest kids ever. So we go to Give Kids the World, and it changed my life, and it changed Faith's life. And this place is amazing. It has wheelchairs that can submerge into the pool, but it only gets you up so high so that the kids feel safe, but they can get into the actual pool feeling. They do so many things. I don't want to go into much of depth about it because we're going to do this for the podcast-a-thon, but this place is the most amazing. And I hope you never can go. I do, because in order to go, you can't just go if you're Joey Bag of Donuts with your family. You have to be nominated and chosen for Make a Wish. You have to have, God forbid, either a terminal child or a critically ill chronic child. And once you're there and you're an alumni, you can go back every year, and it's amazing. This place is amazing. And so I am beyond honored to be working with them. And I've been in contact with them numerous times, lots of meetings, more this week. If you go on to either A Contagious Smile on Facebook for the page or Victoria Cure author page, both of them show how you can join our team and just join our team. And you'd be surprised because what people don't also know is that everybody there is a volunteer, right? So they don't have that overhead because all of it goes back into the facility. And it's amazing.
Mm.
Imagine going to a facility and your whole family, the siblings of the children are all, they don't understand why the brother or sister get more attention because they need it. They feel left out. They go to this place and everybody is equal. Everybody is the same. And you see kids walking around with IV poles hooked up to chemotherapy. You see kids with bald heads and Down syndrome and you name it. And they are the happiest, sweetest, most loving kids you will ever, ever meet. And they are enjoying this opportunity of a lifetime, right? And if there are some rides that you can't participate on in Universal or Disney, they have a lot of the rides there at Give Kids the World, and you can get on those rides in a wheelchair. You can play putt putt in a wheelchair. And like what's so amazing is like you take your putt putt and you play, and when it hits in the ball, you push a button and the ball pops back out, so you don't have to get out or figure out how you're gonna get your ball out. Like it does so many amazing things. The details of intricacies that they have put into making this place is just phenomenal. So join our team. Even if you fundraise $5, that will buy a meal for a family for one. They have the most amazing ice cream. I hate ice cream, but it has the most amazing ice cream shop there. It has a cookie place that grandma will come over and bring cookies for you. Even if you're too sick, they bring them to you. And $5, I mean, it adds up and it makes a big difference. So we would like everybody to join our team. Like I said, you can either do a Contagious Smile on Facebook or Victoria Cure on Facebook, and you'll see where it says join now. And you can go and log on and join our team. And it costs nothing to join, but then just share and say, hey, instead of getting your 19th Starbucks this week, donate the $6.85 that it costs for a flippin' cup of coffee, and realize that that is going to help somebody have a week of memories that otherwise they would never be able to have. This is coming from a mom who went 20 to 25 medical and doctors and physical, speech, occupational, therapies, feeding therapies a week, and then you have a week off. You're talking about respite. You have a week where you're a family, and it's not, oh, I got to get to this appointment by 8 and I got another one at 10 and I got another one, and it's just go 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 go. It is memories that you will cherish for a lifetime. I'm off my soapbox. I'm sorry. I just love this place so much that I can just keep going and going. So my husband's looking at
Well,
me, and it's just, it's a godsend. It is. And I want us to help any way that we can. And so that's what we're doing.
so how can they donate to Make a Wish?
Well, they're not donating to make a wish. They're donating to give kids the world.
I'm sorry.
And both the pages, if you join as a team member
Mhm.
or if you go on there, it also gives you an opportunity to donate. And as a Contagious Smile, if you raise a certain amount of money, which we haven't figured out yet, we're going to celebrate you
Mhm.
because you're helping us bring happiness to people who, think about it. You get a cold and you're bedridden and you're miserable. Think of these kids like Faith, who had at that point had 30 plus surgeries. She had a feeding tube.
Mhm.
She at that point had non, she hadn't had a seizure at that point in a couple of years, but she could pass out at the, switch of a light. And we had so many things. Well, parents of kids that have stuff going on like this are petrified to travel. We're afraid we'd be too far from a doctor or too far from a hospital. And oh my God, what if we get there and we've gone somewhere and we forget a backup battery for a machine, or we don't have enough formula, whatever the case may be. When we
Yeah.
arrived, everything medical was there in your cottage and set up for you. Like everything. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And you really get to take that time and be with your kids, right? Not, I'm sorry I can't help you with your homework. I have to go do a trach change right now. I'm sorry I can't, to your other kids. It's all of you and all of the siblings together. And it is the most amazing thing ever. And I'm just so honored to be a part of it. And I'm going to shut up because my husband's looking at me all like, whatever.
No, you're fine, babe. No, today I took my wife with me to do a small side job, just to try to earn a little extra money. And my wife and daughter came with me, and then we went and picked up a lawnmower, someone had given to me, and we did some other things today and spent the whole day together. Um, and it was nice. And I made a statement to my wife. I said, I wish I was at home full time to be able to enjoy you and our daughter more, because this is very nice. We didn't spend a lot of times on our electronics
We didn't
today.
spend any.
Um, we had some business take care of, but yeah, it was very nice to, spend time with your family. Even if it's small memories like that, it's a day together. And these kids that we advocate for, they may be housebound for, God, it seems like years, you
Life.
know.
Some of them are for life.
Um, and man, just a chance to get out and see something exotic like that other people don't have the chance to see. It's just that would man, that would just light up my whole day.
Yeah.
As a dad, to turn around and see the happiness on my child's face.
Hmm.
You know, uh, God, uh,
And not one kid. You know, when people are sick, and I don't mean to point fingers, my husband's a baby when he is sick. You are.
wait a minute
And when
now.
you don't feel good, you are a grumpy, bumpy bear. And but here
Okay.
are these kids, right, who are going through, like the 3-year-old that I met that I just absolutely fell in love with. She's like, she dressed up every night they do a different block party theme. And she dressed up and she's like, I can't pronounce it, but I am whatever's killing me. And that's what she says. And I became very close with the mom and we did a lot together with her while we were down there. And unfortunately, she passed. But what was amazing is like she was on chemo and, she had no hair. I gave her a pair of scissors and said, cut my hair and take it. She cut 4 feet off my hair. But the point is, and she wore that hair with pride, and it
That's
made me so
amazing.
happy. And I told
Yeah.
her, she's like, no, 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 it's your hair. And I was like, it's just hair. This is what she wants. She
Right.
wants to be a redhead and she's gonna rock it. So let's go. It's just hair. People today are so, not everyone, but a majority are very shallow and superficial about like, like it's just so tedious. My ear hurts, so I'm out of commission for 48 hours and nobody understands this pain. No one will ever get this pain. Look in the eyes of a child who has no knowledge of what getting up and going to soccer is like or going over to a friend's. Like Faith has never had a sleepover with friends. She had a sleepover with her godmother who was a doctor and was one of hers. And let me tell you, I kind of sort of because she was a little tough, this woman, but I would sit out in the driveway and she'd call me and go, get off my property. I've got her, and I'm like, I don't know what to do because I've never been away from her. She's in the hospital. I'm right beside her. But these kids who have never been able to go over to someone else's house for an overnight, or, the parents can't just leave their kid with their older siblings to go out on a date, right? People take that for granted. And you go to this place and you just look at these kids who just smile at you just because they're happy. They take every second they have and they live for it. They love it. And so many of the kids would say, I was supposed to be dead a year ago and I'm still here.
Mhm.
So I am loving every second, every moment, every giggle, every laugh is so heartfelt. And then you look at these, and I use the term Momo, you look at these Momos that are like, so rude. Like people stare all the time at me, and I get it. And I'm like, just ask me what it
It's
is.
because you're gorgeous.
No, it's because I look like I've been told that I look like Freddy Krueger and the Elephant Man had a baby. And people look at me. I have lots of scars. Perfect examples. I went to pre-op this week for yet another operation, and a nurse that I didn't know, even though we know everybody in there, I guess she was a new nurse, asked me if I was in a car accident. And she said it so rudely as she stared at me up and down. And I said no. And she was like, well, why do you like? And she's like looking at me up and down. Well, Faith is right here too. And I'm not going to have it. You want to come at me, come at me. Don't come at her. But Faith has scars, right? And I don't ever want her to be
Mhm.
trapped in the hell I'm in of uncomfortability. And so I just looked at her and I said, I had a very angry ex who wanted to and did use me as his physical playground to constantly beat me into broken everything. And that basically summed up what I said. I mean, to summarize the entire conversation. And she just kind of turned her nose up at me like I was beneath her for being in there. And I didn't look at her like she was indifferent or whatever. It wasn't a competition, but she judged me walking in the door because I have scars everywhere. right? And I didn't judge her because she smelled like she hadn't had a bath since 1910. I didn't do that. I didn't say a word. I just kind of, try to take smaller breaths. But the point is that people are taking these moments for granted. I love what my grandfather used to say when we would be having dinner, and he would say to my sperm donor, whoever you're on the phone with, if I wanted them at my table, I would have invited them. Hang it up. And I love that because it's so true, right? We don't allow phones at our table at dinner. You can't have phones, you can't have caps, you can't have bandanas, no ear pods, nothing. It's family. We're going to talk, we're going to hear about your day. That's what we're going to do, and that's what we do. And I love that mentality because you know what? In 5, 10, 15 years, are you really going to still be talking to that AI person or AI companion on the phone? Are you going to be texting somebody in 5 or 10 years? No, but that people at that table more likely will be there in 5 or 10 years. But people today, they don't care. I mean, they just don't care. And it's sad. It's really sad.
I really love you.
I really
You
love
got the
you.
biggest heart.
No, there's a few people who don't think that.
I know that. I know you have the biggest heart, and people should hear it. The listeners can hear it in your voice. I mean, you get very adamant, and you go off in left field about certain things, and they tell that you have strong passions for it. Excuse me. So, y'all, we share the same microphone because I guess I'm an
I'm
idiot.
cheap.
I can't use a mixer or soundboard to incorporate two microphones that we have. I just can't get it to work with Zoom. And I've tried different programs, but we sit here probably about a foot apart from each other, sharing this microphone, and we constantly look at each other's eyes. I watch my wife's mouth as she's talking, and you cannot help but fall in love with this woman all the time. Now let's go back to that baby thing.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so I complain a little
A
bit.
little.
Yes,
A
a
little? Do
little.
you want me to get Faith?
Oh no, let her alone. Okay.
Let her
Yes, let her
alone.
alone. I'm in the South. Let her alone.
Okay.
Um, us men, real men, we're not that big of a baby.
Bull
PG. Keep it
crap.
PG. Okay.
Bull crap.
Now,
You will be in bed and for like 21 hours, and then the other three you get up to eat, poop, shower, repeat. It's a non-ending cycle when you're not feeling well.
I remember I used to complain more when I wake up and my knees would pop when I stood up in the morning and my back was hurting. I'd sit on the end of the bed and crack my back or try to. But y'all, after my wife got amputated, I would look at my wife and see her laying there and look at that nub that she has now and think to myself, what the hell do I have to complain about? Absolutely nothing. Here my wife has one arm now, and so I've stopped griping as far as that's concerned. Now being sick, yeah. And leave me alone when I'm sick and let me sleep. But bring me some hot soup, bring me some
Oh no, babe. No, no. Like if he wants something, right or wrong, 8, 9 o'clock at night, I'm like, I'll go to the store and get it.
yes, you will.
Okay. And I'll bring him something and be like, oh, I was kind of hoping it had more marshmallows in it. Or, oh, I was kind of hoping it was the other kind of chicken noodle soup. Oh, I thought it was the other flavor of ice cream. Imagine an amputee holding an ice cream container, scooping it out, and putting it in a bowl. Now, I cannot put stuff in my arm area, whatever, to hold it because it's excruciatingly painful. So I can't do that. So imagine doing all this, and then he's like, I was hoping that it was the other kind of chicken noodle soup. Oh, yes, you do. And then I'm like, babe, I love you with every breath of my body, but can you please take a shower? Because when you lose one of your senses, another gets quite heightened. And mine, unfortunately, is my smell. And so I would say to him, babe, you really need to like go in there and hit the shower. But I didn't do anything today. No, but your pores did, and you a little foul, and you need to go and wash it off. And well, I haven't done anything today. Okay, yeah. But then, like, in all fairness, would we actually went out for dinner tonight, and there was somebody.
Oh, wow.
They were so, the body was so stanky. I don't know how they don't know or how they didn't smell it themselves. I was so jealous of Faith because she can't smell. Like, she has no sense of smell. And I literally was like,
I wish you did, though.
oh, I wish she did too. But like, she can smell certain things. We go down the coffee aisle, she's got it. We go into Starbucks, oh, she is happy. But people, if you're going out in public, please, there's a thing, it's kind of new. It's called deodorant. Try it out, put it on, you know? I mean, holy GB jikes. There is just some people just should come with a clothespin. That's all I'm saying.
So, that being said, y'all don't forget to go to the website and look at what we talked about earlier with Make a Wish. Okay?
Yes. And we are still doing our teen talk. The girls have been very busy with school and everything they've got going on, but they are doing it. Dana and I are still very much doing the narc narc, who's there? Help, I'm gasping for air. I was so honored that I was the only person outside of her husband. She's so cute. She goes, it's my sister from another mister, my twin sister from another mister. I was the only person who was given her book before it was released, and I read it in one day. My husband couldn't believe it. I got over 300 pages done in a matter of like a couple of hours. And this is her favorite book she's ever written, and it really does go into depth about narcissism and narcissistic behavior and what she's endured due to other relationships she's had to be in, including an abusive ex-husband that she was with for 25 years. And it sucks. I mean, why are people so damn mean and brutal and heartless? I mean, I don't understand. It's like, what can you do for me? And when you can't do it anymore, to hell with you. I don't need you anymore. Like, I'm done. But then the minute they need something again, here they come, coming right back. And she went through the same thing. And it's like, why? And you know these people are not happy people and misery loves company, but can't y'all all go onto an island by yourself and like just sing kumbaya and call it a day?
What's the name of the book again?
Rising from the ashes.
And it'll be out when? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head, but it's coming. It is coming. But her other two are out. Um, Gasping for Air and Choking on Shame. I've read both, and it's tough, especially when someone is like a sister to you, you know. And this one, the one that isn't out yet, has a villain in it that when I was reading, I can't believe you didn't, come up here. What? When I was reading it before, things even got revealed, I was like, oh, I know who that is. I know who's doing that. And this villain is just horrible. Like she needs like a sit down, have a conversation with person.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about two faced. So it brings a lot of light to it. I just don't understand how some people are so hooked on materialistic things, and I'd rather like these people care what other people that are outside of their family think of them more than they care about their own family internally. And that's sad. That's just sad, right? You know, you and I have both been through abusive situations, not together, but individually. And we have both been in a 10,000 square foot home and lived in it. And you know what? It wasn't our home. Let me clarify, it wasn't our home, but I would rather be in our beautiful home that we have now because that wasn't a home, that was a dwelling. And it was cold and clammy, and I felt like it sucked the life out of you. And oh, you can't touch the walls. You can't do that. You can't, no, no, no. You can't wear high heels in the house because you'll scratch the floor. I don't care. It's a house. I could care less. Like, you should see, we have a huge wall downstairs when you come in. And you describe this wall because I love how you describe it. You light up when you describe this wall.
Really.
You do.
It's a wall full of us, full of memories, full of our family, full of different, moments in time in our life that, we shared, we put together. Some of them were on purpose, like the day I took my wife and daughter, and my wife watched her first sunrise on the beach, and I was that man who made that happen.
Yes,
Just opportunity probably didn't allow her earlier in life to watch a sunrise on the beach, and that was one of her things, and I made it happen, and we got some great pictures. The one I love the most is my daughter, my wife, and we're like walking into the sunrise on the beach, and you just see the silhouette of us, the back of us, and it's just amazing picture.
it is. It's
So
beautiful.
the entire wall, I'd say good, I don't know, 30 feet, is just full of all different size pictures, frames, canvases, just everything. I mean, and some of them are going back, oh gosh,
25 years
25 years for us.
when we dated back then.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's amazing to come in, and that's what's in your face when you come through our front door. You got a wall full of us.
And every person who's ever been in here says
Everybody
they
loves it.
loves it. Yes, we have a ton more pictures throughout the house and everywhere else, and even the refrigerator is covered in them. But I mean, everywhere you go. But what I have to do it. What was the surprise that I did for you about a portrait that just
Oh, so my wife gives a picture to an artist,
well, you got to talk about the original so people understand.
and the artist paints a portrait of my wife, her daughter at the time,
She
which
was
is
always yours.
which is now mine, and her grandfather and grandmother. Okay, from the picture he painted them all together. And later on, my wife gets another one made and incorporates me in the back, not in the background, but above my wife's head and between her grandparents. And once you look at both paintings, you see that, hey, there was always an empty hole there. He just fit right in. I mean, just beautifully. And then that completed the entire portrait. And so, yes, it may have brought a tear to my eye. Uh, I have to dust it all the time when I look at it. But yes, it was amazing for my wife to do that.
Well, work with an individual who does portraits for families, and a lot of time he does them when, say, for instance, a child's passed away or they've lost a parent or something like that, and he incorporates them. Maybe the family's had another baby, but they put the child like an angel in the picture. And he was like, "You've sent me so much business. I want to do something for you." And so, I told him that my grandparents were my world. They were love of my life back then. And he's like, "Well, let me see." And I sent him a picture of my grandfather and my grandmother, and then one of Faith and I. And so he sends me the preview of it, if you will. And this was, I can't even tell you how many years ago. And I said, "What do you charge for something like this?" And he was like, "Oh, it's like 8.99 or something like that." And I was like, "You said what?" And I'm cheap and I was a single mom. And I was like, "Well, I really appreciate the effort. There's no way that I can do this at all." And he was like, "It's my gift to you for everything you've done because I don't think you get thanked enough." And I was like, "I can't accept that, blah, blah, blah." And he was like, "No, you're going to accept it." And he framed it and it's absolutely stunning. I mean, it is stunning. And then I wouldn't put anybody else in the picture. I never ever considered it. And even my bio donor, my sperm donor, was like, "Why am I not in the picture?" He was mad he wasn't in that picture. And I said, "It's my family, right?" And so, no. Well, I kept trying to think there's something missing, and I always knew. And so I'd been putting money aside here and there, here and there, here and there, and I reached out and said, "I want to do one, but I want it to be different because it has to be all inclusive." And I went back and forth, and he was super busy, and I had to have it done before your birthday. It was your 50th birthday, one of your gifts. And I was like, I have to have it done because we're getting married back here in our home again, and I want it in the picture of us getting married. I want it in the background, right? So that they're standing with us. And so he sent me to a friend and he did a heck of a deal for me. And I think I can't even remember the size of it. It's big.
It's big,
It's
yes.
really big, like TV size big. Not 90 inches or
Mhm.
80 inches big, but it's big. And um, when it came, I was like a kid at Christmas because I don't keep secrets when it comes to gifts. I'm not good at it. And when it came, I was like, "You gotta open it, you gotta open it right now." And he's like, "I gotta go to the bathroom." I'm like, "I don't care, hold it." And so when he opened it, I was like, "No, I got to see your face." So I'm trying to video it. And he cried. Like,
Okay, come on now.
you want to see the video?
No.
Okay. You windshield wiped, cried. And so it was a beautiful moment. And it just, those are the memories that you make that last a lifetime.
So going back to making these memories, um, give kids a world. If y'all can donate something, just
Even just
donate it.
a cup of
Right.
coffee, like
It's not going to kill you.
you
If you
shouldn't use that
give,
term.
oh yeah. um, I mean, if you give money to these guys, begging at the side of the road, and then
But look at them. I mean, they have clean shoes, they're clean
I
shaven.
do look at them, and I watched one when I was in
They're
Florida.
not all like that, but a
No,
good majority
but I
are.
watched this Joker leave his corner and get into a Cadillac that he had parked at
Wow.
the AT&T store. I watched this. He was holding the sign homeless, whatever it said after that. And I watched him get into a blue Cadillac, and I was like, unreal. And here I am out busting my butt, you
Right?
know.
Well,
But anyway,
we always talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so I want to get your opinion real quick on um, South Carolina has come up and said for the first time in decades, I don't have the specific facts in front of me and I don't want to quote anything incorrectly, that a man on death row will be executed by a firing squad. And he chose this because somebody else in the same facility chose lethal injection and it took an additional 20 minutes because they had some kind of hang up or whatever. And he went ballistic saying it's inhumane and that's not fair. And he doesn't want to suffer. He doesn't want his family to suffer watching while this, whoever this other person was, suffered for 20 minutes while the lethal injection was fixed or whatever. So he's going to be put into a chair strapped down and they're going to put a target on his heart and they're going to have three people out there and it's going to be they're going to kill by firing squad. What is your thought on that?
but I agree with a lot of times the the punishment should fit the crime. Okay, getting shot's gonna hurt.
But they're going to do it so quick, he's going to die so fast.
Didn't you say they're gonna be volunteers?
Yeah, but they're probably officers, right? I mean,
Right, but remember the whoever's going to be doing the execution, the
uh,
three volunteers, they know they're being watched by the entire world,
but they
right?
don't broadcast it.
Uh,
They should, but they
they
don't.
should.
It should be on after midnight. And you
It
know what?
should.
I believe it should be shown in prisons and in jails because a lot of people don't know there's a difference between a prison and a jail. A lot of people don't know that. but it should be shown to the inmates that if you do something that warrants the death penalty, this is what happens. Because I guarantee you, I think our crime rate will drop if people see like that execution
Yeah.
that failed and somebody had to suffer for 20 minutes. But what about
Right.
the victims that he put through hell, right? I'm sure it was more than 20 minutes. So you want to bitch and say it's inhumane to be put to sleep for 20 minutes and have a little uh-oh hiccup? That's inhumane. And, people can openly debate me all day long. It's inhumane to put someone to sleep in a lethal injection. Is it inhumane to sodomize and assault and just whatever they do to their victims? If lethal injection's inhumane, what is that? What is that? What that perpetrator did to the victim? What is it? You know what? They might have that stance in their mind now, but if it happened to someone they love
Hmm.
or someone they knew, they would take on a very different role about it.
That's right.
Completely different role. I mean, I advocate against violence, right? Absolutely advocate against violence. I will never hit anybody first. But God help you if you touch my child or you touch me, right? No, don't look at me like a weakling. Don't prejudge me because I'm telling you, I won't hit you first, but I will finish it. I promise you. And people are like, "Oh, I couldn't imagine lethal injection is so inhumane." What about these people who are out there killing kids and just the crimes are so heinous, but nobody talks about that. They just want to talk about, well, it's not fair, so let's give them their meal of choice. Let's give them congregational visits. Let's give them iPads in jail now. Let's give them phones in jail or in prisons. Let's let them have television time and three squares a day and healthcare and education. But the victims are laying in a ground somewhere or they're moving through life. And let me tell you from someone who has been sexually assaulted, we don't have a term on that sentence. It's not like, okay, in 10 years, 1 day, 8 hours, and 14 minutes, it's all over and that pain is gone. They have murdered a part of us when that happens. We have to learn how to live life completely different from there forward because part of it was taken away and there's nothing we can do. So they say, "Oh, I did my time. It's behind me." Bullshit. Don't tell me you did your time and now like we owe you everything because you did your time. What about what you did? Right? What about the person you did it to? They are going to have to learn how to maneuver through life the rest of their life because of what that person did. And people just don't take that into consideration. They just immediately are like, oh, prisoners are treated inhumane and they're not treated right. Are we supposed to? We are already, as taxpayers, paying for their food, paying for their shelter, paying for their health care, paying for their education, but we aren't doing squadoosh to help the victims. We're not paying for them to get back on their feet, dust themselves off, and get back to who they used to be. So why is that? Isn't that what you should define as inhumane? Isn't that the definition of inhumane? I mean, here's the thing. You can put a dog down because the dog attacked a child. Why can't we do that for a pedophile? I mean, seriously. And you know
Hmm.
what? It's Keanu Reeves who has made that statement so boldly. If you are a pedophile, you deserve to be put down just like a dog who attacks a child. If we can put a dog down, we can put a pedophile down. And it's Keanu Reeves who openly made that statement. And he just soared in my respect column.
Yeah, so there's the invitation. Keanu, come on our show.
He is so humble and down to earth, but he's had a hard life.
Yeah.
He really has. And I mean, every place I've looked or read an interview about him, he is just the nicest guy, just like talking to you and me, seriously. And
Mhm.
there's a lot to be said for that.
So y'all can clearly see how passionate my wife is. She's got a lot of heart. So
Even though we have serious cyber stalkers, and I have to say, what's even funnier is that some people don't realize the intellectual ability that some people have because even our stalkers are now passing the torch to other individuals and saying, go follow them, go stalk them. And we find out about it. We know who they are. We know who they are. We know who sent you, you know? I mean, come on, put your big girl pants on. And, what do you think about all of our cyber stalkers?
I think it's hilarious. I do, you know,
Why is it hilarious? Like, ha ha, facetious.
because they're in our shadow. They're trying to catch up. Hmm.
There's a way to look at that.
Hmm.
Wow.
Deep thoughts
That's a thought from you.
by Michael.
That's a big thought from you.
I'm getting tired. I
When are
had
you not
I had a
tired?
busy day.
I know you didn't have a nap today. I'm
I didn't.
very proud of you. You did very well. You did.
I'm gonna hit the hay.
Negatory, mi amore.
But you got something else to do?
Yes.
More work? Great.
I would never call you work.
What would you call me?
My soulmate, my
Oh,
husband.
yay. Y'all see why I love this woman. Oh, I had another woman today that we were dealing with. Tell my wife, "Oh, I'm so glad we met, blah blah blah, and you are now my bestie. We're gonna be besties."
That was so funny because you didn't even let her finish that sentence before you jumped her skillet.
I said, "Wait a minute, hold on there, Tex. This is my best friend. This is my bestie. You'll have to take seconds."
I
So,
have a couple of people in my life that would say that's taken
yeah,
and that's not available. That's position or spot. So,
it'd be nice if all y'all married couples out there could look at your spouse and say that this is also my best friend. I just absolutely tell them everything, and I could share everything. That includes your passwords to your phone, Facebook, everything.
oh yeah, and like he'll say, "Hey, can I see your phone here?" I just give it to him. I don't care. Here, take it. He'll say, "Hey, look at my phone." Whenever, like he'll say, "Hey, my text is going off. Go read it." I'm like, "I don't want your damn phone. I don't want my phone." Like what was my text messages the other day? Just in that one day, it was like,
Oh, no, was it 400?
yeah, it was like 412, and I clean them out daily. Like, my emails
How
are
y'all get that 400 something text?
right in a day, and then the emails is ridiculous, and I try to get to every single one of them. I do look at every single one of them. And these two, this one and his roaring sidekick, are all like, "Come on, look at these tags. Would you clean them out?" And then I show them that it's down to nothing. And then the next day, they're like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, I can't help it. Right. But I try to answer everybody. But,
So, thank y'all for listening to Unstoppable with the sexy, lovely
oh,
Victoria
Lord. I hope nobody's eating while they hear this. Blech.
and myself, Michael.
My hot, sexy husband.
Y'all be sure to go on Amazon, check out Victoria Cure and
What? Don't.
all the books,
Ugh. He's always.
all the books that she has published. And check out Faith Cure Solomon. That's our daughter. She's written several books. Um, and look at our website thoroughly, see what we're all about,
And the academy's coming.
the Academy, and shoot us a letter sometime. Not a letter, but an email if y'all want to come on the show. Especially you, Keanu Reeves, come on the
Johnny
show.
Depp. Oh, I'd love to interview Johnny Depp
Yeah,
just because he is like gone through it.
yeah. Thank y'all and good night. We'll see you next week. You got it, and we're out.